Hi there, so welcome. I'm just going to give you a quick walkthrough on another one of the apps that I use on a regular basis, and that is Slow Shutter Cam. I'm using an iPhone, so apologies if you're on an Android. I believe it's not quite so easy to get hold of on an Android, but certainly if you've got an iPhone, it's well worth getting hold of. It's not a completely free app, but it's like €1, €2. It's not a lot, and I wouldn't be without it personally. If you're going to do ICM photography, this is a fantastic app to use. So we're going to get on with having a look in it. So it's your second icon across on the top there. It's a purple icon with like a little lens in the middle of it. So if we tap on it, it will take you into the first screen that you're going to arrive on. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to go down into the bottom left settings, and we're going to see what the setting options are. Okay, so you have three possible modes that you can use this on, and the first is motion blur, the second is light trail, and the third is low light. To be honest, I find it very difficult to see the difference between motion blur and low light, so I generally do not use low light. My go-to is actually light trail. I really enjoy light trail because it offers something completely different than what you can do on your camera. Motion blur offers quite a soft look, not too contrasty. The light trail offers a much more contrasty, sort of abstracty look, almost like a painting, or sort of a more artistic, I think, is easier to explain. So underneath motion blur and light trail, you then have two sliders, and depending which one you're working on, you have a slightly different slider. So I'm going to start with motion blur to start with. So here you can choose the blur strength and the shutter speed. I tend to leave the ISO on auto for all of these. I don't play with that, I just play with the others. My go-to shutter speed for both of the settings, motion blur and light trail, is around 2 seconds. Blur strength for this mode I tend to set at high. So what I'm going to do, I've just got some grasses here that I'm just going to show you. I'm inside today because it is blowing a gale outside, so you wouldn't be able to hear what I was saying. So what we've got here is some grasses. So I am just going to make a very slight upwards sweeping movement. So if you tap on the actual screen, you'll get rid of your details. So you tap on the screen and then you move in whatever direction. I'm just moving very slowly upwards, and you can see it's captured quite a nice image. It's not very contrasty, it's very soft, it's very gentle. If you're happy with it, press save, and it will save directly into your photos album. You don't need to do anything more. If you want to if you want to edit it, you can, but if you want to take another one, you press clear capture. So just to show you the difference, okay, we're going to go with a slightly shorter shutter speed of a second. I'm going to make a slightly faster movement this time, and we're just going to go upwards. Okay, so this time I've got quite a dragged movement, okay, and we're going to just go one more and just show you that. This time we're going to go with a shutter speed of 4 seconds. So this is quite a long one, okay, and then we'll swap on to the other. So we're going to go up. And you can see that as you move the camera, I'm moving left now and then I'm moving up again. Now that's quite a long one, and so everything's become quite blurred and quite mushy. Right, now I'm just going to go in now and show you the difference if you're losing light trail. Now here you have light sensitivity and shutter speed. Again, I'm going to set the shutter speed to start with at about 2 seconds. Light trail, I tend to work at around half to start with, and that's why the screen's gone just slightly dark, because it's like when you put a filter on in front of your lens. It's just slowing it down a little bit. So we're going to go with this, but the minute I start moving, you're going to see the difference here. So I'm going to make exactly the same movement upwards. But you can really see now how contrasty and how creative and sort of how arty this one setting is. So I'm going to press save, clear. We'll go in again. We'll do what we did last time. So we'll do a shorter 1 second here, just so you can see. I just moved up and left a little bit. Clear. We'll clear the capture, and we're going to go to 4 seconds. This time you're really going to see, as I move the camera around, you're going to see what happens. So I'm going upwards, I'm going right, I'm going upwards again, I'm going left. So you can see what actually happens. It's wonderful because you can see what's actually happening as you move the camera here. Just so you can see what the effect of pushing up your light sensitivity is. So we're going to go exactly the same. You can see it's quite a lot brighter when you move the setting there. So we're going to save that and clear. So now if I go into my photos, remember where my photos are, we should be able to see these all down the bottom here. So these were the first ones that arrived with the motion blur setting. So this was on 2 seconds. This was on 1 second, but a faster upwards movement. And this was on 4 seconds, and you can see the difference there. And then we moved on to the light trail setting. You can see there's a big difference with the contrast and the colour. And this was 2 seconds. This was 1 second. This was 4 seconds. And this was 4 seconds with 100% or full light on. So I think it's just really, really useful that you can see the difference there with the different settings. When you're working in the app, go back to the app there. When you're working in the app, you have various settings on the top. You can use a flash, you can focus it, you can zoom in, zoom out, that kind of thing. Do be careful when you're within the settings of the camera. If you want to use these images later for anything and you want a decent quality, make sure you check into the app settings and make sure you've got them saved at whatever quality you would like to do. So I hope you enjoyed that and I hope that was useful for you. As I say, it's a really, really fun app to play with that you can sort of ICM anything. And I'm just going to show you very quickly. If I just set, I'm just in my lounge, so I'm just going to find some random things. Here we've got some wine bottles. I'm just going to show you how you can be so creative. So you've got some lovely shapes here. I'm just going to make a round movement because that's kind of the shapes that I'm watching. And that's my wine bottle rack, which is quite fun. And you could crop that later and have a bit of fun with it. What else have we got here? I've got an old picture here, a Van Gogh picture. And if I wanted to have a play with that, now just be very careful because I'm showing you this as I'm doing it. If you've got it too long and you work on the light trail setting, it does tend to, you can lose everything. So what I might do instead for that one is go back with the motion blur because then I can hold a little bit more detail. So I'm back in motion blur now. And you see now it makes a difference. I can now create something quite fun there, which looks a bit like a pencil sketch. And just one more, let's have a look. We could do, I've got a painting here, I've got a photo here of Iceland. So we're still on the, we're just on the motion blur. So I'm just going to pull it across to the left a little bit. And you have something that looks quite like a traditional ICM. And then if we go back into the light trail and do exactly the same thing, you will see the difference here. It really picks up on any whites and things, but it gives some really fun results there for the textures and things like that. So here we have the light trail setting, and then here we have the motion blur. Sometimes they look much better. So in this one, I think the motion blur actually works better on both of these. But probably I quite enjoy the wine rack with the light trails, and I prefer probably the light trails for the playing that we did on these grasses that I was having a play with. So I hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, look forward to more YouTube videos on my different apps. Speak to you soon. Bye.